Fotosyntech. Welcome to season 2 of Meet the Grower, and we're kicking it off with 2 very awesome guests. You may have seen them. I was actually on their show not too long ago. Highigan, Heaven, Neil, welcome to the show, guys. Stoked to have you here.
Hi again.
Hi again. What's up? Man, we're so glad to be on here for the first time.
We are so happy to
Sorry,
be here, yeah.
Been a little, we were trying to get on here a while ago, but just life gets crazy, and glad to be here now.
We are so happy to be here. We love watching all your other episodes, so this is exciting.
And I'm a big fan of yours as well, and you guys have been blowing up off the hook. I mean, just explosive growth, and rightfully so. Fantastic content. And guys, if you're not familiar, I mean, you can just pause the video now and go over and subscribe to their channel and then come back and watch the interview. That being said, before we get started, before we get into this whole new list of season 2 questions, because I mean, it hasn't been that long since season 1 ended, but I needed something to do to kick off new questions. I wanted to say thanks to my sponsor, Mars Hydro. Mars, thank you. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support. And if you want to support me, I got a Patreon going as well. Link in the description below. That being said, guys, welcome to the show. Meet the Grower season 2. Super happy to have you here. How you been?
Good.
Busy
and good.
Yeah.
Summertime for us in Michigan, it's like, oh my gosh, we've been waiting all
cram everything in
half our lives. Like, we got to get it all in. We got to go do adventures and go camping, and then we got to make videos and keep up with everything. It's been crazy, but fun and exciting.
I've always said Michigan is far enough north to be honorary Canada, so hey.
We're there. It feels like
I'm okay with that.
You know the struggles.
Every Canadian I've ever met has been so nice.
Yeah,
it's the beer. It's the beer we drink. So, all right, guys. Well, let's get into some questions here. Like I said, I got a whole bunch of new ones, and the first one. Let's talk about you guys first. I want to know the highlights of how life has brought you to this point. Like, how did you guys come together? How did you meet? Tell me the story. Well, it's gonna be a good one too.
Who's gonna start this? Well, we met on Facebook dating.
Awesome.
And I'm sure most people feel Facebook is just the worst. Like, I don't know.
I thought he was fake. He probably thought I was fake. We met each other and we were both real, and we're like,
hey,
right,
surprise. Her profile said she liked space twice, and I was like, this is it.
I like space. And then
I like space too. So we met up and we just hit it off, and almost 2 years now. Jeez,
almost.
Crazy to think about, but yeah, we just hit it off, and I feel like we're at a point in our life where we know what we want, and we just started dating, and then
I was growing a little bit before I met him. I had my own little grow space. I was doing awful.
In the garage. HPS lights, doing photos. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know anything about any of this. But I was like, this is amazing.
I didn't know anything about any of it either. I was just going for it. I'm like, you know what? It's legal in Michigan. I want to do it. So I went for it.
Yeah, and it was legal. And I voted for it to be legal here. When it came up on the ballot, it got approved. And my whole plan was to eventually start growing and getting into it. But then we met, and I was like, she's already growing. I was like, awesome. And we just started kind of take off from there. Started doing photos a little bit. We did some photos, and then
I was growing clones.
Yeah,
I was getting clones from friends of mine at the time. So
and then we got. I ended up ordering some seeds online. Accidentally ordered autos. We discovered what autos are.
Didn't even know what they were.
Loved them. And we're like, man, look at these fast turnaround times. They're so fun and exciting. And then we just started growing autos. And then I'm like, let's make a YouTube about us just figuring out how to grow these MFers. And
it kind of snowballed.
That's
really.
when it started.
Well, it was funny because when we first got the autos, we were like, well, what are these?
Are
things?
these like robots?
Like, okay, so let's try them. And then they just grew so fast, and it like helped us really understand the plant in like an accelerated rate, really.
Fashion, yeah.
So we just kind of got addicted.
Yeah, because it was like double the rate of the photos we were trying to go. We're like, look at these things, and it's like,
what's this going on? What's this going on? We had all kinds of questions, and we just dove head first.
Yeah, just went for it. So and then Highigan was born, and here we are now, almost a year,
Not even.
maybe 8-9 months since we started the channel, but yeah.
You guys, like I say, off the top there, you just been killing it. Neil, I think you were telling me there, it was earlier that, you've had just massive growth in the past month, even a ton of views on just a short number of videos. Maybe you could share with us some of the secrets of your recent success.
It's overwhelming, kind of. Like when it first started, I was like, how did we gain 100 followers or 100 subscribers in one day? We're like, it's happening. So it was just like, for me, I've never experienced anything like this. So it's really exciting and kind of scary.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's a lot of mixes too, like what makes a channel successful. But recently, what has done the most positive for us is making content that doesn't get restricted. And that's following YouTube guidelines. And that's making videos that necessarily,
really.
You can't really show anything about your plants or what you're doing, but just having like a conversation about it. So we've done a few videos where we sit down, just talk on a topic from a beginner's perspective of like what we've noticed when we've tried these things like pot sizes or, whatever. And those videos, because they don't get blocked, gets substantially more views than like a grow series that we filmed for months, put days into editing and then release that, and it gets restricted and blocked. And then like,
which is so frustrating, really.
Yeah. And we put a lot of work into those. And I think that's what helped start our channel, because for the first 8 months, all we did was grow videos and stuff that got blocked. And then recently we started to just diversify the content, do more new stuff on top of the growing and everything we were doing before, but just to try and reach a wider audience. And I feel like if you're making cannabis content, and you already put a lot of work into grow stuff and it gets blocked, like folk just branching out and trying different styles of videos that follow the guidelines and don't get restricted is going to help your visibility a lot, because we've seen so many new people, like 2,400 in the past 28 days.
Which is again unfortunate, because it's like we want the videos that we want people to see are the ones that we're growing
the fun ones. And then people comment and they're like, oh my gosh, we've never even seen any of this until we saw this vid and led it back to your grow vids and things you've tried. So
it's almost like we have to open that door in order for them to see the other.
But I think that does help with our recent growth. And then, just trying to make quality, fun, entertaining content, which is a lot of work. I mean, your channel's great. You do great on your videos, and it's a lot of work doing all that. And it's really hard. It's kind of almost crushes you a little bit, because you put so much work in, and then YouTube's just like, nah, nobody's ever going to see that.
And it's frustrating to just try and get that stuff out there, because we just want to teach people how to garden for the most part. Unfortunately, we see such variances in federal laws in the US versus Canada versus the rest of the world, and it's a bit of a rock and a hard place. But I mean, I think it's just getting yourself out there, but also showing some of these grow videos and whatnot too, because like you say, that is the fun stuff. That's why we're doing
that's really the reason why we're doing it. We're not doing it for the videos that aren't getting blocked. Like, that's not the stuff we want to make, but it feels like we almost have to in order for people
to even
look and find us.
Because it's so hard on YouTube to like start from rock bottom and then build something that's genuine and not like,
and then getting pushed down on top of it.
Yeah. So it's a struggle, but we're finding our way. Like, I had experience on YouTube before, so I'm not like it's my first time or anything. Like I have a lot of experience with cameras and editing and video. So, I mean, that definitely helps, because good content is just more enjoyable to watch. So you got to put the work in.
Yeah. And it shows. I mean, one of the things that attracted me to just your content in general was the overall quality of the content, how nice it looks, your skills with the camera, the editing. I mean, you do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Let's talk about the grow stuff again, though. Tell me about your grow space and, how has it evolved over the last couple of years?
Oh boy. My first grow space was
garage
train wreck. I mean, like I said, I didn't know what I was doing. I just was like, I just knew that I wanted to grow my own marijuana. And it's been a part of my life, my whole life. So it was a no-brainer when it was legalized here to want to grow it. So I just kind of went for it. I put a wall up
in
my garage, separating it from the rest of my garage. And then I made that room my grow room. I put Mylar up, and I put I had a veg side and a bloom side, and then another little side, all separated from like just little curtains.
Yeah.
And I had my calendar there where I wrote all my little things down, and like he came in there and he's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's my space."
I know. I started researching, and so we kind of upgraded the garage, and
So yeah, then he came in and
we got some
overhauled
like
me.
LED lights and some like rail movers. So it was like we had like a lot of photos in there, and they were going pretty good. Other than like our newbie mistakes, but they were going good. They just took a long time, and we're like, man. So that's when we found the autos, and we're like, oh my. And then ended up getting a tent, and then after we like all the photos and all we were doing with the veg and the bloom and the switching and the rooms and stuff, we're like, it's so much simpler to have a single tent, and we can just run everything in that one tent and just have it at various stages because everything's on the same schedule. Like it made so much sense and it was so much easier. That's why we switched to single tents and running autos only, because it just made life simpler for the space we had and what we're trying to do.
Well, it was funny because then he got me a 5x5. That was what we started with, the 5x5 and the Bloom Plus light. And that was the tent that we decided to put in the basement. So we were like, we kept the grow room for a little while.
Yeah.
But eventually decided to just get rid of that one completely. And then just focus on
just because the indoors
5x5. So then
cleaner.
I got the 5x5. So then he's like, I want to start my own grow at my house.
Yeah.
So then tell him what you did.
I got a 2x4 with like I bought my own Bloom Plus light. I bought everything, set it all up, little Vivo Sun 2x4, and it was perfect. Like I could fit 3 autos in there, and it was going pretty good. And then as the channel started to grow and companies started to approach us, we work with Vipar Spectra. We got a pretty good deal with them, so they upgraded our tents, like newer lights. So she got upgraded 5x5 new lights from them, 4x4 now. So I took the whole
hooked us up, really.
2x4 down and got the 4x4. And we've just been running with that. So with the 4x4, I can easily fit 9 autos. I kind of have 3 lanes of 3. And then in the 5x5, she can fit 3 lanes of 4. So that we can only do 12 plants in Michigan. So that's like, it's like a perfect perpetual auto setup, because every month you just, plant 3 seeds or 4 seeds, and then every month you're chopping down the ones at the end, so you can just keep it all flowing. And that's what we've been trying.
And you learn faster that way. For me, it's like I'm learning how to read the plant in a more accelerated rate, I guess, and that's why I'm really loving it.
Yeah, autos definitely have an advantage, that faster growth, overall time. I just finished actually taking down my first outdoor grow where I did some autos, and I had one plant that did okay, and I had one plant that did absolutely amazing. And they're so fun to grow because you get that rapid growth, but then at the same time, it can hurt you pretty bad if you screw something up, because
exactly
don't respond.
They're pretty unforgiving, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what we've been toiling with as new growers, like trying to figure these things out, because you're right, it is a challenge, but they're fun and they're exciting. And overall, like our yields have been us.
I have more than I need.
Yeah, we're only growing for personal, and it's been more than enough. And we kind of get a lot of hate for the autos and stuff. Like people talking trash.
People get a lot of hate. They hate us for our autos.
But we love it, and it works for us. And we don't hate on anyone's style or the way anybody grows or what they want to grow. Like we're having fun.
Yeah, I just did a live stream last weekend there where we talked about organics versus synthetics, and no hate for anybody. I mean, if you're growing, you're growing, like whatever works for you. And that's the nice thing about it. And then just to touch back on autos, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Bill Ward and his channel.
Oh yeah, dude's a legend, man.
How the hell does that guy?
How does he do it,
man? I mean, I know he does 24-hour lighting, but beyond that, it's just, I don't know. He's really good at training for one, and I think he just gets good seed stock too. But that brings me to my next question: do you guys follow a set routine each grow, or do you change it up a bit and experiment?
We were actually just talking about this.
We are wild cards. Maybe
I'm just much.
We are new.
We're crazy.
We're new, and we have a lot to learn. So bear with us, guys, if you go watch some of our videos. But we're figuring it out. But I think maybe one of the things that draws us back, or maybe at least me, it's like every grow I'm trying some new soil mix or new something, and it's like I just want to see what happens.
It's funny. He actually just got the new FloraFlux line.
Yeah, so that'll be the first time we try synthetic. Curious.
And And then he was like, well, do you want to just do this? And I just started Nature's Living Soil, and I'm just starting to kind of understand it. So I'm like, no, I need to just chill with this for a minute. Like,
I'm good.
So right now we're actually going to be doing 2 very different grows. So it'll be actually really fun to have you guys
see how they go. Yeah.
Oh, you guys need to do the same clones in each grow too, just to give that comparison.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard. It's also hard because we're doing autos and we're always trying to train.
Right.
Because we only grow autos, and we definitely
hopefully one day when hopefully we'll live together at some point. We will be doing photos. But right now, I don't think
it's just with us and the setup we have and not living together yet, and it's hard to commit to the photos and more space requirements, double the equipment. And because we don't want to have to like run a whole tent and then flip it and then wait for that to be done. Like we want stuff going in the wings, so it's ready, but you can't do that really unless you have 2 whole setups or at least some kind of side veg thing. And I mean, it's for us, we're just sticking with them, but I think the part that draws us back, at least me, is just trying so many different things instead of just like sticking with like something and then trying to build on that.
Which I'm stepping back and I'm doing that. Right
now. She's better.
I'm gonna try to keep learning what I'm learning right now.
5x5 series is definitely better.
My tent is looking pretty good right now. Pretty happy with it.
And it's always a challenge, always something to learn.
Yeah.
Tell me about your favorite grow. When did it all come together? What was the best one?
That for me, the last one, Bruce Banner New Kids. Man, that was the first one that just had like a really nice fade. I put it on Instagram. People were loving it. It just looked really good and finished out and didn't get all messed up somehow. I mean, it was short, but it was just
But you
chunky.
had the homegrown Bruce Banner with it, same grow. And I think they both turned out amazing. Really? They were just,
I did not care for how it looked or ended up.
I think that was just the genetics of the plant. It smoked amazing though. Both of them.
It was pretty, but that's probably the one I'm most proud of. I don't think the video's out yet. It was coming.
Right on. So something for you guys and viewerland to look forward to. I know I will. Tell me about something you think most growers tend to underestimate.
Literally everything. I don't know. I underestimated all of it. I mean, I'm just growing a plant.
Yeah, maybe for me and being like somebody new, I would say just underestimating, like understanding what the plant's telling you. Because at first it's like really confusing. Like, oh my God, what is happening here? Like, and you're like struggling to react. But after time, like you start to get it and you start to get what you're feeding it and, the nutrients and things and what it's telling you it needs. And just learning the language of the plant, but that just takes time. So,
I mean, we're literally still learning.
We definitely. It's definitely an art, like a trade. Like it's not something you can just, for most people, I imagine, to just pick up and be like, boom, growing amazing plants. It takes time. It's going to take grows, failures, and learning from mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a big one, is just sitting down and taking the time to learn. I've said it before, it's not hard to grow weed, but to grow good weed consistently, completely different story.
Yeah.
You might get lucky, and it's been talked about that first grow is always going to be one of the best grows because you're not messing around, you're not screwing with the plants too much, you're just letting things happen.
Yeah, and that's much what we did our first
And that's
time.
what we did, and they did turn out great. You're exactly right. And then you start to like learn more and think more, and you're like, I'm gonna try this, and you start doing all kinds of stuff. And sometimes it just creates more problems, but it's
and we've definitely learned.
That's a great point.
We're learning.
Bringing it back around and keeping it simple is just, I think Welcome to the Grow Tent has been one of my favorite guests in terms of simplicity. I mean, that guy, he is such a Zen gardener where it's, doesn't feed too often. He uses T5s and he still ends up with these amazing looking plants. But I don't know. I like to tinker, so.
I like to tinker too.
Yeah, we do too. Like experiments, like people don't top autos. Like we're doing everything they say not to.
Yeah.
But we want to try and, we'll find our groove and we'll eventually, figure our method. It just takes time and doing runs and learning from mistakes and having fun.
And
Like I keep
mistakes.
saying, we're not also growing plants, we're growing ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Every day you got to learn a little bit more about it. Mistakes are tough ones to come back from, though, and they can be really discouraging. And I think one of the mistakes a lot of growers run into is bugs. I've lost the battle myself before. I've had to cull plants. Have you ever run into something similar? Have you lost the battle against the bugs?
Funny you say.
Ashamed to say.
Yeah, I don't know which bug story we should start with, but here's a real recent one. And actually, one of our shorts on our YouTube is some HD ultra macro I got of a freaking thrip. And that's the first time I've ever had an issue with bugs in the 4x4 or in any tent here through probably my first 4 grows, maybe. And then just recently thrips on my red Panama. I'm like, why?
I know that
Why?
plant was beautiful
And
too.
it's so I've been battling with those and they're a pain, but that's something. It's like I never really had an issue, so it was like totally at the back of my mind, like IPM and like pest control. It was like, well, I don't have any, so I'm good. We're just gonna keep trucking along. But eventually, soil and organics, like something's gonna get in here somehow. And so now that's a very real part of things we'll be talking about in real soon.
But we didn't mention this earlier, but the reason why we ended up getting rid of the garage was because we got spider mites.
Spider mites in there,
yes.
going buck wild.
And we had 18 plants in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
More than we were supposed to, but
Yeah.
I had 18 plants in there and I was like, yep. And we tried to combat them.
We actually did.
And we lost the battle.
No, we won the battle. And all the ones in the garage made it. But the problem was we also had the 5x5 in the basement and they got down there and they just bred like wildfire because it's warm, it's controlled. It was perfect. They were going nuts. We killed them in the garage because remember we sprayed them with and we treated them and we put them out in the garage and it was wintertime.
It was wintertime. And I don't know how those plants still were alive.
It was freezing out there and we sprayed them and we put them in the garage for like 5 days. No lights or anything, just in the garage.
And they survived.
And they just were doing amazing. And we put them back in and all the mites died and they just started growing again. And then, but then we were just like, we're so done with photos. We don't want to wait for these to finish. And then we just want them out. So we ended up getting rid of all of that.
Because it ended up getting in our tent because if it was upstairs in the garage. So
we were like up in there looking around and then we go downstairs and we just
I feel like it happened before we even knew it.
Yeah.
But so we ended up getting rid of everything in the garage and everything in the tent as well and cleaning all of it and starting over.
Yeah, starting, and that's pretty much when Highigan began.
That's when Highigan began, was when we got rid of those.
The phoenix rising from the flames.
Yeah, cleaning. We sterilized the tent and we started just growing autos in the tent in the 5x5.
And that's when we started.
That's when we started the channel. Like 7 months ago or 8 months ago.
Sometimes it just takes the proper catalyst to inspire greatness.
Yeah, but definitely now there's gonna be some kind of integrated management of like just a weekly spraying of something that will just help deter. Like I did some neem oil, some insecticide soaps, and a lot of people recommended or viewers recommended Dr. Zymes. I don't know, or enzymes or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that one. I would make a personal recommendation for thrips. If you're not too deep into flower, and even they say you can go up to 3 days before, Dr. Doom makes a pyrethrin fogger that is completely organic. It's made from chrysanthemums, and it'll get rid of your thrips because it's a fogger. It gets everywhere.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but if you've got pets, you have to be super careful with the use of it. It does dissipate and goes away after a couple days, but I would recommend that. That's about the only time I will do spraying of a pesticide is if I end up with a major infestation of thrips, which has happened 2 years in a row and not this year, fortunately, knock on wood. But again, that Dr. Doom's pyrethrin fogger, really, really good. All organic, safe to use.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that for sure. I mean, they seem to have been, from what I've done, like I haven't seen any of them. The other day I found one leaf with one, so I just the first time using the Dr. Zymes. But all the other plants seem to check out good. The one that I originally saw on like heavily was unfortunately my red Panama, which was looking amazing. Got messed up. It's in a separate like sterilized tent that I'm just pretty much I don't even know. I'm probably gonna throw it away. But Yeah. So it's a problem that you don't think
I know
about
that
till
made
it's a
me really
problem.
sad. But I do have a new red Panama going, just because that one was growing beautifully.
Yeah.
So I ended up starting one.
And unfortunately, I think I screwed up the ones I have in the 4x4 now, because when it happened, like the panic, and I'm like, I gotta do something. I gotta treat these things. And so I'm like spraying neem oil. And I mean, I should have like looked into it more, but like spraying later in the evening and stuff like that to like prevent damage to the foliage and stuff like that. So it definitely had a big impact on the autos I had going, which is unfortunate because I was really excited about the ones that I had started. Yeah, the Mephisto and stuff. So they're kind of damaged, like they're definitely screwed up, but they're still going. So I'm just going to kind of let them go and see what happens. But lesson learned. So there's a lot to cover there.
From what I understand, the quote comes from the late Frenchie Cannoli, and it was, "You can still smoke mistakes."
Right.
So
they look like they're going to make it. They're going to make it. Just did not nearly what I was
now
hoping
these days
do.
you can wash them. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So much learning to do, right? Every time something happens, it's just another opportunity to learn that much more.
agreed.
Bring the conversation around to a slightly different topic, though. How do you guys think we can reduce the stigma around cannabis?
Use it. Talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't. I honestly really hate that, you know, there's this such a stigma, because I've been around marijuana my entire life, and it has done nothing but do good for me in my life personally. So the fact that it even has this bad stigma, I kind of take it personally in a way.
Yeah.
So using it, talking about it, making it known that we're not being in the shadows, don't, you know, that's how I think that we're going to get away.
And especially because we here in Michigan have voted it legal. Like the people wanted it. Like it should be no different than getting a drink or having a beer. Like I want to smoke a joint, or, you know, we're all adults, and, you know, we can handle it and be fine with it. It's not demonizing like they tried to make it to be when we were kids or growing up, and, you know,
devil's lettuce.
Yeah, exactly. Like nothing's crazy is going to happen. Like you'll probably have way worse of a time if you drink that 12-pack than if you smoke two joints or something over the course of an evening. Like there's a huge difference, and one is obviously way worse, and one is not as severe as what they try to make it. So it's like, wow, you know, we need to have society move forward.
Normalize the use of cannabis.
You know, everybody's legalizing. Like there's a reason, because it's not as bad as.
It's not bad at all. It's actually, to me,
medicinally,
it's positive. It's so positive that I can't believe it's been so demonized.
Yeah. A lot of my family uses it for medical stuff. Like my mom was retired, and my, you know, uncles and stuff like that with sleeping problems. Like there's so many people like who can benefit from it being legal. Like it should not be a bad thing.
Yeah. Just using it. I think that not even using it, if people don't want to use it, that's completely up to them. But again, you can't judge somebody for using it, because I mean, you're gonna go drink a glass of wine. Should I judge you for that? You know what I mean? It's really the same thing. I don't want to judge you for drinking that glass of wine. So you shouldn't want to judge me either in that sense.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to look at it. Then I would ask, as parents, how do you approach the subject with your kids?
Exactly like I would like alcohol. Like, you know, when you're legal, if you want to do that and you're 21 and you want to go have a beer or smoke some joints, like that's fine. Like, I mean, I realize like all realistic parents these days, like it's probably going to happen and they'll try it beforehand. It's not going to be from me giving it to them, because I think they should wait, honestly, until the legal age. So, you know, I treat it the same way as I would alcohol. Like, I know you're probably going to try it at some point. Please just be safe. You can always call me, you know, realistic expectations, because kids are kids. And when I was that age, I was out there trying it just like every other kid probably at some point.
I find it, I look at it a little bit differently personally, only because I have, like I said, been around it my whole life. It's never been something that, it's never been an issue. It's never been something that they've, you know, my family has hidden. So for me, it was already normal. So I never had to have that conversation with my parents. You know, it was already there because it was always there. And that's how I'm personally bringing my children up. Like, I don't, go and smoke it and blow in their face or anything, but, I tell them, I'm going to go to do my medicine. Sometimes I'll tell my son because he's 6. And he gets it. And he's like, okay, Mom, and I don't make it a big deal. I'm not, being crazy or anything, but, and even like with me growing, I'll let him in there and help me water my plants. Like, he loves it, it's one of his favorite things to do. Mom, can we go check on the plants? So I just I don't need to have that conversation with him because I feel like it's going to be already known. Yeah. And if they want to ask questions, they can ask questions. I'm going to be completely honest with them.
That's a great way to do it.
I want to normalize it.
Yeah. And just another way to, again, reduce the stigma, because educating the younger generation as to the benefits of the plant as opposed to, well, like you mentioned before, demonizing it is going to be probably the biggest thing that we can do to help further the cause.
Right.
Back in the grow room, let's talk gear. What's the most important piece of equipment that you have and why?
Besides the tent and lights?
I mean, I feel like 10 lights is the easy choice. I'm going to say my pH pen, because we were using them the jank ones off of Amazon, like the $2 yellow ones,
Don't buy those.
And you look at them and they're out of calibration.
Yeah.
Never buy those.
So I finally, when one of those did me dirty, I finally got the Aperia one, spent a little bit more on a nicer one, and could not be happier with that. And I'm completely confident in the readings, super easy to calibrate.
It's funny because he messed up like an entire grow because he was using that janky little pen, and he bought me a really nice Aperia run and I had been using, and he's just using this janky one, and he ended up messing his plants up because of it. And I was like, you need to get one.
It was at least like 1.5 points off, so it definitely caused a lot of issues, and I was like, oh wow. So
that darn pH pen.
I mean,
but I agree. I think that
if I probably would have kept up with the PM calibrations, but those ones you kind of need like the buffer powders that you mix up, and the whole thing was just not very legitimate.
No, and I can't agree more on just talking about the janky pens. I mean, here's the key thing. The main thing you should look at is if you're buying a $100 pH pen, it comes with a storage solution that you have to store it in. Why wouldn't you have to do that with the cheap ones? I mean, they're showing up and they're already dried out, not working. And it's so important to be able to take accurate pH readings when you need them, because you'll spend $800 on a light and $300 on a tent, and you've got all these nutrients and whatnot, but being able to take accurate and readable measurements, repeatable measurements especially, crucial. So
literally
crucial.
You could throw everything else away, because if you the whole time you're screwing it up because your pH pen, it doesn't matter. You can have the best light, or you can have $100 light. The plant's going to grow awesome if you're feeding it correctly.
I agree.
And
I think that's a great one. Good pH pen.
Yeah, if the battery is working properly, the rest of the system should be doing okay. Right. Now, I guess the real question: joints, dabs, bongs, something different. How do you guys enjoy the product?
I'm a bong flower smoker. I always have been, and I always will be.
I do. I like the bongs more than I like the joints, but I do like the edibles, and we've been getting into the dabs. Actually, just want to thank you. When you went on our live stream while you were doing some pressing and stuff, you explained how you cure it, or heat cure, like put it on top of the thing, put it in the freezer, fridge. Man, I followed that, and let me tell you, turned out amazing.
It really did.
Like the butter, like your
perfect consistency.
It was great, and I was like, man, that changed the game for me. So
but it's funny because it took a while. It took longer than we expected to when he was sitting it in there, because he was like, I don't know if it's gonna work. And then like maybe a week later, he was like, it worked.
Yeah, I literally went back and watched a video of exactly you explaining it. So I did that. Like I think it was the freezer for maybe 24 hours, and then the fridge for like 48. I want to say, and then like room temp. And then, so that's what I did, if I recall correctly. And then, yeah, it wasn't like that immediately. Like I was expecting it to be like immediately kind of buttery, but when I forgot about it and went back like maybe a week later, it was looking like that. And it was the consistency like that. And I was like, wow.
Right on, right on. Hey, it's entirely strain dependent too. I
Is
find
it?
some stuff will cure up within hours. Some stuff, well, like you found, takes days.
Yeah, it did. And I just put it in like a glass kind of screw jar. So I didn't know if like the air or anything has a deal, but it did work out.
If I am being honest though, I haven't give dabs a whole lot of shot because I burnt myself.
Oh no.
And ever since then I was like, screw this thing.
The torch. Yeah.
So then we got the paw, which just heats up by itself. And I'm like, all right, I can make this.
It's kind of like a Puffco or whatever, but that actually works great.
And so ever since then, yeah, I kind of been digging the dabs.
And with the new curing method that you showed us, like now I'm all excited to try and start pressing a bunch of stuff again. I've been saving up.
So we might be getting more
for like, because we want to just do like a micron bag of just all keef and just.
Yeah, he's got a ton of keef right there. I'm like, can we press that tonight?
Totally. Just tiny micron bags, very low temperature and light pressure. So
yeah, right. What do you have like for a recommended temp for us?
About 160, 165 on the press, and a 25 to 39 micron bag.
I do have some 25 micron bags, so
we might do one.
Double bag them.
Yeah, double bag.
You got a double bag. Because what you'll find is if you don't double bag, the bag itself will actually open up and everything leaks out. And if you do get a blowout with hash, it's not a big deal. You just kind of take everything that's blowing out and put it back into another bag, squish it again. So
I love it. We're excited.
Yeah, we love all your tips.
Yeah, I really want a completely full 2x4 bag, like packed, and then I want to go for the gold. So I want it to be a good one.
Don't go too much, like 50% capacity, right?
50% full is how you should fill it.
That's about as much as I do with any of those and stuff. But hey, your mileage may vary. Depends on the bag itself. And if you are buying bags, get the Supreme rosin stuff or the stuff from Low Temp Plates. Those are the bags that I found are the best because you don't want blowouts to happen too often.
Supreme rosin, is that a brand?
I'm gonna check that out. I've just been using some Press Club ones, and they seem pretty good. I got them off Amazon, but never had a blowout.
Give these guys a shout out. I had an issue with some of their bags, and I called up their customer service. They bent over backwards, sent me replacements and stuff.
That's awesome.
Stellar company to deal with. Yeah. Hey, sometimes you get hiccups. Sometimes these things happen.
That is awesome.
No, I love a company that has good customer service.
Heck yeah, make it right.
Oh yeah, matters so much. I'd like to know about the best bud that you've ever had, growing, or possibly both.
Ooh. I was pretty impressed with the LSD that I grew from the last 4x4 series. Turned out super frosty. Hermied and produced some seeds.
Did have seeds.
The effect and just everything was great. I really like that.
As soon as I took a hit of it, it made my face hot. I was like, all right, I know it's good.
I really like the strawberry cheese that you grew too. The strawberry cheese, I really like the
effect. A good mellow.
For me, it was like a higher energy. Like I feel like,
See, not me. That one just chilled me right out.
Really? I like that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's how the effects are different on different people.
And to enjoy it, because you took it from seed, brought it all that way, the harvest, the dry, the cure. It's that much better, I find, because you have such a sense of, I don't want to say ownership, but I guess, I don't know, superiority over the bud itself.
I did this.
That's exactly how we feel. Like, it's like you grew it and, maybe it wasn't the best plant, but, it's like, yeah, I did this. This is great. And it's, for us, it's like, there's dispensaries here and everything now, but it's like, we really don't even care about going in there and like trying to buy stuff. It's like, I'd rather grow my own, even if it's not, up to snuff yet. Like eventually we're going to be there and we'll be self-sufficient and substantially cheaper. It's like, I'm not really interested in buying product. It's like, we're going to grow our own.
100%. What about the new growers? What can we do more of to help them out?
Experiment more. I'm more than happy to experiment for you.
Yep.
I mean, if they, followed our growth series, I mean, we really do we're going to tell you if it works for us, if it doesn't, but we, like a conversation that we had earlier today, even your environment is completely dependent on, the way your grow is going to go. So for beginners, I think that you need to understand that what works for one person may not work for you. So that's just something that I need, it's like, yeah, it worked for this person and it worked for this person, but their environments may be different from yours. So that's just something to always keep in mind that, I think that's something that I would tell a new
There's
grower.
going to be variables. So you're not just going to watch like a Fotosyntech video and copy what his does and it's going to turn out the same. Like you're going to run into problems and it's going to be unique to you. And, that's where the learning comes in.
Yep.
That's where trial and error and stuff comes out. So if you guys want to see a lot of trial and error, subscribe to Highigan. But we're having fun. Like, I feel like the most important part of it is you got to have fun with it. Like, it's got to be like at least an entertaining hobby or something you enjoy, because you're going to learn, you're going to get back from it. And in the end, you're going to be that much better.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I am so cool with showing my screw ups because they happen, right? I don't think I've made it grow unscathed, but I would rather somebody take and watch me just totally botch it and not repeat it themselves, so they don't have that pain. I've experienced that pain. I felt it for you.
Exactly.
Don't do what I did.
Yeah, we can all pretend like we're MLG growers when all you show is like the very best, results, and you don't talk about all the problems you had in between. Like, we just want to show everything, what we're doing, right or wrong. We're learning and we're not trying to hide that.
And another thing I guess, just don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to
ask
find
questions. That's one thing we've noticed. The community, amazing. Like your Discord, so much great info.
Really though.
People super polite, super nice, just willing to help out. Like some of your subscribers brought me in there. Awesome. And then we started our kind of own Discord also for our fans and things that we've been working with. But same thing, just amazing people sharing knowledge, being positive. Like, there's been amazing. I would say the majority of the community is positive and awesome and welcoming. Yes. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And, even if it's a newbie question, like
you're going to get the D's along the way.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some people who will be rude to you, but the majority of people are going to be just open arm, willing to help and just more than helpful. And that's pretty much what we've seen since we started. We love it. Everyone's awesome.
The community, and it just keeps growing, and people are, like you say, they're just awesome about it. Except for maybe Reddit; those guys are jerks.
They can be savage.
Actually, I saw a small article about us on Reddit. It wasn't very big. Yeah.
God, they must have been ripping us up.
No, they didn't. They were like people actually.
Look at these noobs.
It was a very short little blurb, but it was kind of cool that I found it.
That's neat. Hey, you guys deserve every bit of success that you've gotten so far, and definitely want to see you carry that forward. And if people aren't subscribed, I mean, I know you guys have a banging Instagram account. Everything is Highigan. How do we find you?
Highigan.
We managed. We were laying there in bed, like trying to think of names. Like, what do we call it? It's got to be like Michigan something. It's got to be some high something. Highigan.
Well, it was funny because it was like a Michigan's high five, or we were going for like America's high five.
I have like a whole Illustrator thing where it's all just different logos that I was just like throwing together, trying to get ideas, and then finally like that one all clicked, and I'm like, there it is.
It was just as soon as it came out of his mouth, I was like, that's it.
Highigan.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Such a creative name, guys. Well, hey, I've absolutely enjoyed chatting with you. If you guys didn't see our chat on their channel, please go take a look. Definitely very enjoyable. I do have that one last question. This is the one that I enjoy asking everybody, and definitely a carryover from season 1. What's the next big thing for cannabis?
Federal legalization.
Federal, for sure. Yeah. At least for us here in the U.S., like over half the country is already legalized or recreational or medical. Like, it's only a matter of time. I feel it's
not if, it's when.
It's when, it's gonna happen. Like, they're already trying to push stuff through, and when that does, like, things will change substantially. I imagine for us here on YouTube creating content, just like they're going to open up floodgates to, friendly cannabis content.
Well, the one thing that holds a lot of it back is because it's federally illegal
in the States.
Is the banking. The banking is federally insured. So people are afraid to bank. People have to use cash, which is insane. Like these businesses that are trying to, grow with the times, they can't because they have to deal in cash. And when you're dealing in cash, that makes it extremely dangerous. And so I'm hoping that the federal legalization will then make it safer for people that want to cultivate.
And I imagine once the United States is federally legal, Canada already has, I imagine it's only a matter of time before the rest of the world is just eventually
Mexico
worldwide.
is as well.
Mm-hmm. I think they're trying to completely legalize it there as well.
Mexico, I think, is also, and it's when that happens, it will just not.
It's going to be on top and bottom of us. They're going to be.
I'm sure
it's a big old weed sandwich. Come on.
It's good.
It's in here too.
But it's realistic. It's creating jobs. It's helping communities, and there's creating agriculture jobs, businesses for products and things like that.
Medicine
stuff we can do here and help our own situation and our own economy. It's a thing that's gonna happen, and I expect it within this presidency and. I imagine that'll change a lot of things.
I think that like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and when it happens.
Yeah.
It's going to be a snowball.
Yep. Hopefully we're good at growing by then.
I know, right?
Hopefully we figured it out by then.
Well, you guys are certainly doing something right. And that brings us to the end of our episode. So Neil, Evan, totally enjoyed having you guys on the show today. We'll have to do it again for sure. And, any final words, things you want to say to the viewers?
Matt, just thanks so much for having us on.
Thank you. We actually we're big fans of yours, so we're happy to be here.
Super knowledgeable. Thanks for showing love because it's
we appreciate you, man.
Yep, we love
community, guys. All about growing that community. That being said, Highigan. Check them out, Instagram, YouTube, and anywhere else you might find them, guys.
Thank you.